The strategic evolution of Chinese maritime sovereignty. China is systematically dismantling its dependence on Western-led maritime and navigational frameworks to secure independent geopolitical and naval dominance. This transition represents a fundamental shift in how the nation views its maritime space, moving away from reliance on external data streams toward an autarkic, multi-layered technological ecosystem. By integrating space-based assets, undersea sensor arrays, and advanced surface instrumentation, Beijing is not merely catching up to global standards, it is attempting to set a new technical precedent for how oceanic power is projected, managed, and maintained in the 21st century. Foundations of technological independence. The architecture of China's maritime autonomy is built upon the rejection of reliance on foreign navigation and meteorological systems. By fostering a domestic chain of command for environmental and positional data, the state mitigates the risk of being blindsided by geopolitical shifts or technical blackouts originating from Western sources. This transition is not a singular event, but a holistic integration of various high-tech domains. Satellite autonomy. The total migration to the BeiDou global navigation satellite system ensures that military and civilian maritime operations remain functional, even in the event of a global GPS outage or disruption. This system acts as the backbone for all other monitoring efforts, providing the foundational spatial data required for precision maneuvers in contested maritime environments. Marine dynamics. The HY-2 satellite constellation represents a specialized investment in marine observation, allowing for real-time monitoring of wave heights, sea surface temperatures, and wind speeds. By managing its own high-precision climate and ocean data, China secures a strategic information advantage that is decoupled from international cooperative frameworks. Sensor integration. The shift toward indigenous hardware extends to the lowest levels of infrastructure, including intelligent disc-shaped buoys. Unlike legacy systems used for decades, these modern tools allow for the simultaneous gathering of atmospheric, surface, and subsurface data, creating a holistic picture of the marine environment that was previously inaccessible to decentralized or foreign-controlled networks. The transparent ocean and naval supremacy. At the heart of China's naval strategy lies the concept of the transparent ocean, an ambitious goal to eliminate the hide-and-seek dynamics that have historically defined subsea warfare. By filling the undersea domain with a dense, persistent web of monitoring devices, Beijing intends to remove the element of surprise that Western submarine forces rely upon. This creates an environment where subsurface movement is tracked with high fidelity, fundamentally altering the calculus of naval engagement in the Pacific. Mapping for navigation. Large-scale deep-sea mapping initiatives serve the dual purpose of scientific research and tactical preparation. Detailed bathymetric data is essential for modern submarine operations, providing the geography necessary for stealthy movement and effective evasion within complex underwater terrains. Strategic choke points. The deployment of sensors across key passages such as the Malacca and Lombok Straits serves to monitor all transit activity. This physical presence forces regional actors to contend with China's constant oversight, effectively turning international waters into managed zones of influence. Autonomous systems. The reliance on uncrewed underwater vehicles allows for persistent surveillance without the risks associated with human-crewed platforms. These autonomous systems are designed for endurance, enabling long-term intelligence gathering that keeps a constant watch over Western naval movements. Civil-military fusion and global geopolitics. The distinction between civilian and military research is increasingly blurred, a policy known as civil-military fusion. Oceanographic vessels that appear to be engaged in benign climate science are often harvesting the very data required for targeting Allied submarines or refining missile guidance. This dual-use strategy maximizes resources and provides a convenient diplomatic cover for activities that would otherwise be classified as direct provocations. Countering economic leverage by developing its own observation infrastructure, Beijing inoculates itself against the threat of data embargoes. If Western nations were to restrict access to satellite data or environmental modeling, China would remain unaffected, ensuring that its military and economic engines continue to operate without interference. Infrastructure export. Beyond its own borders, China is successfully exporting its technological frameworks to nations in the global south. By tying these partner nations into the BeiDou system and other Chinese maritime monitoring tools, Beijing effectively expands its digital influence and surveillance footprint, creating new interdependencies that strengthen its geopolitical hand. Regional friction. The proactive stance on sensor deployment has exacerbated tensions with regional neighbors. Whether in the Yellow Sea or near the First Island chain, China's insistence on transparency is viewed by Japan, Taiwan, and the Philippines as an assertive expansion into sovereign or disputed waters, leading to a climate of persistent low-level friction. Strategic outlook and future challenges. The cumulative effect of these developments is the creation of a digital maritime wall that shields Chinese interests from Western interference while simultaneously projecting power into areas previously considered neutral or Western-dominated. As of mid-2026, the success of this strategy is evident in the increased frequency of naval patrols and the relative ease with which China manages its maritime data streams. However, this level of control also invites a recursive response from international adversaries who are beginning to develop their own countermeasures to bypass or deceive these sensor webs. Ultimately, China's shift is less about data collection and more about the exercise of sovereignty through technological control. By dominating the information environment from the seabed to the orbital planes, Beijing is ensuring that its naval forces operate with a level of situational awareness that remains elusive to its competitors. This systemic autonomy changes the nature of oceanic competition, making it a contest of technical infrastructure as much as a contest of raw force. As the transparent ocean strategy matures, the international community will have to navigate a maritime landscape where the very nature of visibility and access is dictated by Chinese design. In conclusion, the strategic transformation of China's maritime capabilities reflects a deliberate move toward autarky in navigation, monitoring, and subsea warfare. By integrating indigenous satellite networks, advanced sensor arrays, and a dual-use research model, Beijing is successfully projecting its influence while diminishing the leverage of Western-controlled monitoring systems. This technological pivot not only secures current naval advantages, but also establishes a new rigid paradigm of global maritime engagement that will define geopolitical tensions for the foreseeable future.